Get Warrior Tough, Mental Training 101 with Andrew Wittman and Dutch Coleman. And now back to Andrew and Dutch.
All right, we're back at it. Dutch and Andrew and Dutch on the Get Warrior Tough radio show. You can catch Dutch at D Dutch Coleman on the Twitter. I'm at Warrior Tough PhD. All right, Dutch, we left off this before the break where the super smart students, after they found out that there was a deception, that they weren't really that smart, they had been tricked into looking at that they still, even after they were told that, and they were shown the evidence of it, and it's still, they hear, like, here's the fake notes, here's the ones that came from the L.A. County Coroner's Office, here it is, they still, hey, we've done quite well. Significantly better than the average student, even though they just saw the evidence that there was like zero grounds for believing this.
We're pretty good at this.
Yeah. You know what it reminds me of, Dutch? Remember when like Jaguar was like a really great car?
Yes.
And then like not so much?
Yeah. You know,
but you still say, I drive a Jaguar, I drive a Jag. Everyone's like, ooh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was instead like the whole status symbol.
Yeah, it was like.
I remember. I remember. I don't want to get off topic, but yeah, I'll let you go and get that point. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to get off topic.
You can. I mean, I was like, it's like anybody. Okay, so this is, and this is again a psychological thing where like once the impression is formed, that it is remarkably persistent, and so that's why we have this thing called the law of primacy. Right, Dutch? That's why first impressions are so important. That's why anchoring. So when you come in, you want to come in and make a great impression, as in you want to be, you know, your brand. I'll say it that way for our millennials. If you come in and your brand is such that you are a quality brand and a value-added brand and you're a cool brand, even when you, like, that goes down and the quality and we find out that it wasn't, it really doesn't matter because we'll still believe that was a great brand.
You see it all the time, and that's a great thing that you brought in Jaguar because it's a product or service. We see it all the time with different products and services all around us. That no matter what happened, if you already believe that, then it's going to remain. It's going to linger that much longer, and it's going to take an act of God or nature to get you off that belief.
Well, it's like my friends with like Ford and Chevy. They are, what's the better truck, right? Or Dodge, right? They all, and everybody has their own. And then it doesn't matter what the facts are after that. Once you've made your decision that this is it. I'm a Dodge guy. It's like, and then you take that on as your identity, like these students. I'm the smart one. I could really, it's just. Then facts don't matter. Evidence doesn't matter. And that's why we teach critical thinking, Dutch, because that's the only way. It's the only way to overcome these biases is critical thinking.
Well, the critical thinking is one of those things that don't allow you to tie yourself to certain beliefs because every situation is different. I'm taking the information I have, the data I have, and I'm vetting it, and I could be in a completely different space the next time because it's all based on now and the current data, right? So I can really believe in something, and then when the new data comes out, the new information comes out, I can be pushed off that. I think about the different operating systems when it comes to technology. You got Android, you got Mac, you got people,
right? Those Apple people, and then there's the Apple haters, and then there's the the Linux people, the ones that that want open source and.
Right. So no matter what the actual facts are,
right.
I'm an Xbox guy. You're a PlayStation guy. It doesn't matter. I'm born like I'm stuck there. I got my heels dug in right there, and it's across the board with everything, man.
It really is. So a few years later, there was a new set of students came into, and again out at Stanford, and so they did a related study. So the students were handed packets of information about two different firefighters, Frank and George, right? So Frank's bio said, among other things, that he had a baby daughter and he liked to scuba dive. George had a small son and he played golf. Now, the packets included the men's responses on what the researcher called risky/conservative choice test. So it's, what kind of risks are they playing it safe or are they risky firefighters? Now, according to one of the packets, Frank was a successful firefighter who, on the test, almost always went with the safest option. So he's very conservative. In the other version, right, then George, who was a lousy firefighter who'd been put on report by his supervisor several times. Once again, but he was like, took a lot of risks. And then they did the opposite, right? So half the group got this one, half the group there. And then halfway through the study, they're like, oh, wait, we tricked you. Here, we got to switch the packets. This is the real story, right? So in one of them, Frank is a risk taker and George isn't, but George is a bad firefighter. In the other one, George is a great firefighter and a risk taker, and then Frank is a bad firefighter and plays it safe. You following that?
Yeah.
So they switched them.
Yeah. I want to be a part of one of these studies coming up, but we go through so many studies. No one's going to be able to trick me because I'm going to be so skeptical of everything anyone tells me.
I already know you're about to trick me.
It's like you're ruining it.
Right. Yeah. So then they ask the students, okay, even though you've just been tricked, they ask them, describe your beliefs. What sort of attitude toward risk do they think the successful firefighter have? Well, the students that got the first package, where Frank was played it safe but a good guy, well, they said, well, a good firefighter is someone who would avoid risk. But the students in the second group who first got, again, anchoring, primacy, got the one that said Frank was a bad firefighter, but he took lots of risks, then it's bad to take risks. So, and then even after the evidence was shown that, hey, this was totally, we're refuting everything that you just said, here's the facts, it has nothing to do with your beliefs. It didn't matter. They did not revise their beliefs, and they saw this failure is epic, but only 2 data points. They had 2 data points, and they made a generalization. I'm like, why are you shocked at that? Because most people, they have 1 data point, and they make a generalization.
Yeah,
Trump is good, Hillary's bad. Hillary's good, Trump is bad. Based on 1 data point, we 1 data point, not 2.
It's funny how we were talking about, teaching young people critical thinking skills, and think about how damaging this can be when you have a young person for years and you indoctrinate them with things that are just bad and wrong, and how hard it is for them to get out of it, how they're going to fight tooth and nail no matter how much the information is to the contrary. You know what I mean? Think about how powerful that is, and that's why we have to be very careful with what we're not only exposing ourselves to, but we're exposing the people around us, especially young minds.
Listen, I got to
daily basis,
because it took me years, and still even to this day, I'm digging stuff out. I'm digging beliefs out, and mindsets out, and thought processes out that were passed down from my parents and the friends and the neighbors and the ministers and the coaches and the teachers that is just 100% wrong. It's just wrong. And you know what? Here's what we don't keep, which is what we don't teach kids in school, Dutch. To go find out for themselves. Not just take a teacher's word for it. I'm not just going to take a parent's word for it. I'm not going to take a minister's word for it. I'm not going to take I'm going to go find out. If you're telling me something, I want to go. This is why I research, Dutch. Because I need to go find out for myself so that I can say that belief is legit for me, or am I just copying what someone else told me?
Right, and there's beauty in the discovery alone. It seems like we're getting further and further away from that. With the more and more we have information at our fingertips, we're getting away from the discovery phase. It seems like that, years ago, there was much more of the hands-on things going on where teachers and people wanted you to go through something to find out, to verify it, and now it's accepted as fact. I mean, people can go to Wikipedia and that's enough. Oh, well, okay, that's good. I believe it.
I saw it on the internet. I'm a French model. Buongiorno.
Exactly. So we're losing that along with being given the information as young people, that experience of going through, finding out on your own, or just the experience that you see a flower blossom or bloom, or you see what do we do, the scientific method, going through those steps and seeing each step come to fruition until the end, to the conclusion. It seems like there's less of that going on now than it was before, because we have that access to information.
Right, we're shortcutting everything. And then for everything that you could find out there, you could find another website that refutes whatever was just said, which is part of some of these studies. Interesting thing they found out is that the human brain, is very good when we're poking holes in someone else's argument. yet totally blind when it comes to our own position.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm great, and we watch this. I'm great at lobbing bombs at you and finding all the holes in your logic, yet completely blinded to it when I'm staking out my position. Evidence doesn't matter. Facts don't matter for me, although I'll try to shove them down your throat.
Right. No one on Twitter retweets things that go against what they believe, even if they're facts. No one retweets new facts that completely contradicts what they tweeted yesterday. It's like no one does that.
So
you continue to tweet out stuff you believe.
That's exactly right on. So we surround ourselves, and this is that confirmation bias, right? So we only surround ourselves with stuff that is comfortable for us, that backs up what we think, that backs up what we say, that backs up our opinions. And so we surround ourselves with that. And it doesn't matter if you gave me ironclad evidence, I'm not going to believe it.
No question about it.
Right. We're listening to the Get Warrior Tough radio show with Dutch and Andrew. We'll be right back.